Hey everybody, welcome back. Or if you're just joining me for the first time, welcome to my channel. I'm Trisha with Chocolate Musings. I love to bullet journal, which includes planning and journaling in one, paint, draw, and create lettered art. Today I will be setting up my bullet journal for May. I've penciled in some ideas and I'll work off of those. I have to do a little bit of pre-planning. This is the May welcome page. I thought about just having it be the intro to summer, and I still may end up doing something like that, but then I thought I would have May written right here, and I'll show you that in just a moment, and then have it transition into summer too. And I have penciled in my little May calendar. Once summer starts for me, I actually need to do less planning because everything seems to be more off the cuff. So each of the weeks during the summer are going to have less and less writing on them and less things I need to keep track of. So I decided to do 2 weeks to a spread. And during the month of April, I started with Sunday and went to Saturday. So it was a Sunday start to the week. And to be honest with you, I'm going back to my weekends being together. So this is the week that I'm going to transition that back. So it actually has 8 days listed here. And then I'll just split the category meals into this week and that week. And then following, I wanted to try out a couple of different layouts. I usually do the same size boxes, but then just flip them. You might have seen that in other months as well. I think I did that in March, but I like to see how much space and which one works better, and then I'll use that one going forward. Each week has a to-do and then a notes section down at the bottom. And I put these diagonal lines. I was thinking of doing stripes. We'll see if that actually ends up being in the design too. And then the next week, the next 2 weeks, I've got them all planned out. And splitting Saturday and Sunday down here. And then I go back to the vertical layout for the last month. And then after that, I probably will put my habit tracker here. And the last page I have all planned out is my all the things page. And I'm going to put that here. So I am going to start on my welcome page, and I took a class on Skillshare on how to make even block letters from my friend Kiki B. If you've seen her on Instagram, she is an amazing lettering artist and she makes beautiful letters. So I took her Skillshare class, and I've got a link below if you want to check out the intro video for it. So now my block letters are even, and I am dying to try out some more of that. So that's what I'm going to do here. And I've outlined how big each letter will be already. So I'm just going to freehand everything and just draw it in. The design on this page will look kind of like this. It says, if you can read it, May is the gateway to summer 2018. And thought that that would be kind of a good transition from having a welcome page for the month and a welcome page for the season, which I am evidently looking forward to. And I know it's much easier to do with rulers but I thought I would just do this real quick and eyeball it. So I penciled this in, and it seems like I could probably move this Y over one just for spacing purposes. So I think I will do that. So then I'm left with a little bit more space over here versus here, and that's totally fine because I was going to stack is the here, so that occupies that space. So May is the gateway to summer. Perfect. My color palette, mostly influenced by these pinks and purples. I wanted some extra greens in here. This reminds me of a lilac bush. And those are some of my favorite smells in the summer. So I may do some more doodling with lilacs, which I'm excited about. But I'm going to get my palette set up, which if you've seen my videos in the past, my palette is a plate. It's just a kitchen plate that I use in my art supplies now because it's got a smooth surface and I use it for watercoloring with these markers. I like to use them as watercolor, partially because once you watercolor with these, you can erase the pencil marks underneath it. One of my very favorite boards on Pinterest is my color combinations board, and I will leave a link specifically to that board on my Pinterest for my Pinterest account. So then I will leave these two blank. It is a Sunday start, so Sunday to Saturday here. This is almost dry. I just painted this and it's almost dry. So I'm just going to erase the boxes and then I will letter in the month and the year. This is my favorite lettering pen. It's the hard-tipped Fudunasuki. Hopefully I said that right. I have a blog post about lettering supplies, my very favorite beginning lettering supplies. So I will also put a link for that down below. One thing I learned with previous journals is that I needed to put the year on more things than I could imagine. I always thought that, oh, I'll be able to figure it out. I will know it's April or it's May, whatever year I'm on. It's very hard to remember when you look back on it, even a year later. So I always try and put the year on anything that I do, just so that I have a reference point. So I think I'm going to work on this page next and split creating the weeks in another video like I've done in the past. That seems to work out the best, at least for me anyway. Not sure about you guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. So I'm going to work on this and do some more painting on it, I think. First of all, I think I will outline the words here, and If I overlap any, I will add some white to it after I have put the color on it. And if you are going to watercolor afterwards, it's always good to use a non-water based ink. And this Micron it's archival. It's waterproof. So just let it dry and then afterwards you can watercolor over it. And this one is the 0.5, so it's the thickest. I normally use the 0.35 or the 0.30. If I'm doing very fine detail, I will use the 0.2, but not very often. So just going to outline these, and I'm freehanding these partially because I kind of like that look that it gets when I freehand things rather than exactly calculated. Just kind of loose and whimsical. I think I will watercolor this and then write over it afterwards. This is what my palette looks like, my plate looks like after I've done some watercoloring on it. It's still got the color on it, so I don't have to add any more. I think I will do fade between green and yellow. And I don't have to get it very wet to get quite a bit of color. Sometimes to get this effect, you can put water down on the entire area and then start the colors and let them melt together. But I don't like to do that too much with the thinner pages in the journals. And unlike regular watercolor, like I said before, you can erase the pencil marks once it's dry with the markers. It's definitely one of my very favorite things. So I will just let that dry. Shouldn't take very long, in fact it's dry now, but I'll just let it be for a bit. And then I am going to do summer in the same kind of effect, but with the purples and the pink. With this style, I'm okay with going outside the lines. I've had to learn not to be such a perfectionist with my art, and that's made me be so much happier. The whole reason why I bullet journal, there's two reasons. One is to keep track of all the things, and two is because it makes me happy. It has been one of the biggest things in my life to help with happiness. It's brought art back into my life. I forgot about this, so I've learned not to fight against, I guess, intuition the way that I really want to be. And I used to try and be just a complete perfectionist. I wanted to make hyper-realistic drawings and art, and when I couldn't do that or when it didn't turn out the way I wanted, it was frustrating. But once I've let that go and realized that maybe that's not my style right now unless I really want to work at it, I've been much more content. These dry pretty well, but it's always good to give it just a bit of time. I have had them smear. Now you can outline using this. It gives you some great thick and thin lines. I'm just going to do a standard line. It's again the 0.5. When you do thicker lines, it looks a little bit more cartoony. So if you are making a banner like this, it helps to count the letters, and I knew that I couldn't have one hanging straight down, that they would be separated as it was an even amount. Odd amounts will have one in the center, but it helps to plan how many of these you need, how many of these banners. I like the fades on each of these, just kind of adds more whimsy to it. The font on this is kind of fun. So I'd love to hear what you think. I'd love to hear your comments, any thoughts, any ideas, maybe some things that you'd like to see happen or that you'd like to try and see how it works. And that should do it for today. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and leave a thumbs up on the video. And don't forget to visit me on my social media channels. You'll often get sneak peeks on Instagram and Twitter, and I have a whole lineup of inspiration on my blog and on my Pinterest account. I hope you remember to plan your life so that you live beautifully. And don't be afraid to try something new and discover your inner muse. See you next time.